fourth guy who
We have a fourth person who had to take off. But
Alright.
we were thinking, an average day the job could take and the stress on you. So it'd be important if your clients to know exactly how old is your cloud advisor. So maybe that's your average kind of day, and you're feeling pretty rough, or maybe you just give up, right? And the stress is getting so much to you, and you might lose all your hair, or start to go grey, or whatever it might be. So maybe you're looking a bit like that, or maybe you're still looking nice and fresh as time's going on. But how can you know? So let's ask Watson. Oh, that's interesting. It does do that. So, someone with a US cell phone, please. Grab your phone, take a selfie for us. And only works with US phones, of course. So, can you take a
do we all
take a selfie? Or you can take a photo of someone else.
I got it.
No.
Where am I sending it
You're sending it to 609 431 So that's going to whir away in the background. While it's doing that,
It's crunching photo.
let's discover. Is it been sent?
Yeah, looks to be.
Alright, let's see. No, it hasn't been sent yet.
scroll down.
It might be, no single data.
Wait the 10 seconds. We don't have to press it again.
18.
18?
I think this one's probably the most unfair.
It's minimum.
And Alex, take a look.
Yeah, I'm going to send you another one.
It's minimum 80.
What's the right number? I'd be in trouble.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Every 10.
No, you haven't.
Didn't you think?
I don't look 32.
Didn't you think about some kind of threshold? If it's above, 60, so you say, we did have some problem with detecting your age.
Did I get a number wrong? Maybe I typed a number wrong. Just double check it for me.
No, that's the number.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
The number is wrong.
No.
Refresh.
Unless you've reached it. No, it automatically refreshes. Unless you've reached your special. Anyway, while we're waiting for that to come up. So while we're waiting for that to come up, what's happening in the background? Let's talk about that, and then we'll come back to the little example. Anyway,
What's the number on it?
Gonna try it?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, whoops. Stupid, I hate keys. So there's a couple of thoughts here too, apart from the fact it's a bit of fun from a cloud-wise perspective. It's there needs to be multiple entry points. It has to be an image that is understood as it goes through, and it has to be able to be stored, translated, and provided back. You got that one down? So for evidence, so a picture, send a picture.
Take a look in your Slack channel.
We'll come back to that. I've got that open actually. Yeah. So what's at the base core functionality? What's happening is we're using Twilio obviously for the receiving of the message and the handling of that message. We're using Node-RED for the functional analysis around what's it and the insights that are happening, and then we're using the front end display. But there's actually a lot of complicated parts that go into that. There's the webhook functionality that's obviously Twilio's got, and the API which allows it to store the image and represent it as a URL, which is a critical part, which is actually exceptionally important. Obviously the Node.js stuff and the database, the cloud database where the images are being stored, along with the result, the associated result of, 1824. The Watson, obviously, analytics piece, which is probably the simplest. Bluemix to then republish that up in an externally facing web page. And on the web front end, the Angular, the Bootstrap, and HTML coding that was required to make it look that way, present, do all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So a lot of pieces that actually go into integrating that. But the idea we initially started was, what if we could send it through any format, maybe an email, for example. But what you discover when you go through and look at that stuff, and what we learned out of that is, that's great if you want to push something into the database, but you need to understand the message. So getting it in is extremely difficult and complicated. So Cloud accepts attachments, but only in certain ways. So getting it in there takes a lot of effort. Getting it out of there, you actually need to know what does it have and how do you present it back. So no matter which format you get it in, so getting it out is just as hard. But once you have figured that out, it means you can serve it up in any way you want because the cloud will understand what's there and is able to then represent it in whatever format you like. And then, because we have more time and everyone keeps adding features, you can then push that back out to Slack channel, right? And so, and I'm sorry for the size of the text, but their age is at least 55 and maximum 64. That's I don't know if it's a combined age, but I don't know if it's a joint age or not. But because that's there, we can re-represent that information any way you want, any nutshell you want. I'll go back and see.
Refresh.
I'll go back and see if this is going to give me the answer now.
There is a new one here.
There's a new one.
Yeah.
Oh, 55, 64.
Why did it show?
Doesn't show. That's where it's come from.
Yes.
Yeah, so there you go. So it's less about the, this is a bit of fun for everyone to be able to do and incoming and receive, but it's more about the concept of being able to do that, analyze that, re-represent the data in whatever form you might want to use it for. That's it.
And some key interesting thoughts. Initially, you used like some pair programming techniques. So we decided to split the team into groups. One to focus into the image capture piece, and the other group to focus to create the Node-RED flow and also the interface, the web interface. But we start to struggle a lot into the data capturing piece. So like everybody together, let's focus on these. It's really important, and we put progress with that and using Twilio APIs and other technologies. So it was really interesting how we could deal with these challenges.
And to add to that, what really is a challenge, the technology and the capabilities, it all can be done really fast. Deployment, Bluemix, Node-RED, sticking it together, even the other tools that you think. It's more about understanding some of these things, like yourself trying out all these forms in a single page, right? And here, what are the techniques, like understanding how the client actually stores the data or attachment, those little things, and what the caveats of what Node-RED expects as a JSON object with quotes around the variables or not. All these little things, until you solve them and figure out whether your approach works or not. We tried Twilio yesterday. MMS messages didn't come through. Today it did come through, so we went back to that option. There's some simple options, some are not. Discovering what works takes more time, but the actual integration, coding, very little amount of coding, deployment, running it, it's actually a few minutes.
So what was the issue with the images coming through?
I don't know. His didn't come through. Maybe your carrier is I don't know, not from the US.
It's interesting. Some are instantaneous and works perfectly, and the others we never see the message. The Twilio just doesn't see the message. So it's definitely on the Twilio end. And for the Australian one, it's really interesting. You try it with an Australian number. If I send it as SMS, it knows to block it. So it sends a response back to my provider and says, no, give me back a URL link. Don't give me back the message. I won't accept the message. And then it resends the URL link, which is another way you can look to represent. So there's a few ways for the international integration you can try to get around it.
But once you depend on someone else to provide the service, you never know what to expect, right? Everyone has their own way of interacting with you and deciding what works, what doesn't, and so you need to handle those things separately.
So we're going to keep it live so Mr. Salwa can put his face up and get it out. I think he was likely he didn't respond.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.